Welcome back to Day One Voiceover. My name's Robert Vienna, and this channel is documenting my journey into a new career into the voiceover business from day one. So what I have planned for you today is a bit of a makeover into my recording space. As I've joked in the past, I use my walk-in closet to do my recordings. I have my USB Blue Yeti microphone, the no-no of microphones in the voiceover business, sitting on a shelf inside of my closet. I basically tuck my face inside of my clothes. I put a blanket on the wall in front of me to dampen as much sound as possible. And it actually works well. It does what I need it to do. It blocks off a ton of the reflection. It blocks off a ton of the low-end sound as well, but it could be better. The thing is, it's not very comfortable to be in there because I have my face tucked into my clothes. And what I've been wanting to do is move in a way that I can turn around backwards from where I have been recording so I can look more into the open space. Now the thing is that poses some challenges when it comes to reflections and other surfaces that I have to treat. And that's what I'm going to tackle today. It's not so much a full makeover. I'm not going to necessarily do the full wall-to-wall treatment, the full neon lights and the LED lights and the RGBs that everyone does with their studio makeover. But I am going to do something with it. Primarily is I'm going to install these. So these are Amazon special acoustic sound tiles. And I know there's a lot of backlash, or how should I say it? Controversy? Maybe not even controversy. But there's a lot of ups and downs with some of the sound treatment tools that you can buy off of Amazon. They have the acoustic foam that supposedly helps treat a room. The thing is, a lot of that stuff is very mislabeled. They call it soundproofing. And what I'm going to be doing is not soundproofing at all. What I'm going to be doing is sound treatment. Soundproofing is protecting your space from the outside in so that nothing comes into the room. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes treatment to the walls. You want air gaps in between walls, all kinds of things. That's why studios have such nice places, because they can dedicate a space that they can fully soundproof. Sound treatment is when you treat the inside of the space to minimize reflections. Unlike a music recording studio where a nice reflection, a reverb can add so much to a performance, a vocal performance, a speaking voiceover performance needs absolutely zero reflection. And that's the challenge. So when I've been talking into my closet, quite literally stuffing my face into my clothes, which you've seen in the past, it does the job, but it's really uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do is install these panels and try and reduce the reflections as much as possible to the surfaces where I don't have clothes hanging on them. Now there's a couple of things that you want to note about sound treatment and soundproofing. That foam that I was mentioning that's available on Amazon, it's terrible. It doesn't really do the job. From my understanding, foam needs to be anywhere from 4 to 6 inches to really have an effect on your space. And anything that you buy on Amazon is maybe about 1 inch or 2 thick. So it doesn't really do much. On top of that, it's not really the right material to use. So what this stuff is here, it's a bit more compressed foam. I'm not sure if this is made of wool or what, but putting your ear up against it, you can definitely tell it does absorb some of the ambient sound that's around there. But every time I've seen someone installing these, even voiceover professionals, established professionals, I saw a video from Mike Delgadio, who was installing some similar panels, not the same brand, with similar panels. A lot of these come with kind of self-adhesive backings that you can simply just place on the wall. And then you put them in nice little patterns because they're hexagon shape, and that's great. But there is also the idea that leaving an air gap in between your foam panels or your sound absorbing materials and the wall helps reduce even more reflection, because sound gets trapped in between the wall and your material, and it gets bouncing around in there, and it gets lost, and it gets trapped, and it never makes its way back to the microphone. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. I have these little foam risers that I'm going to put on the back of these foam tiles, so that when I put them on the wall, there's going to be enough separation to hopefully improve the overall sound dampening dynamics of this material. I'm also going to try and leave gaps in between the foam tiles themselves. I'm not going to join them like this. I'm going to try and make them like this, and a combination of that spacing on either side, as well as the space between the wall and the tile, should hopefully absorb more of the sound that's going to be bouncing around the room. This will be a challenge, but it'll be fun, and I'll give you a little tour around the closet, probably more so than I have in the past, so you can see what I'm talking about and why this is going to be a challenge. So let's head into the closet. All right, welcome to my walk-in closet, or what I've been calling walk-in studios. This is where I've been doing my recordings. You can see that's where my microphone is, my Blue Yeti. And let me turn the camera around here so I can give a little tour. All right, this will be a little easier to show this way. As you can see, that's been my recording space right up here. I have some big pillows, or a big pillow there to help reduce some of that low-end reflection. And I have a towel kind of wrapped around some of my wife's things. She's been very patient with how I've been using the closet, thankfully. And you see I have some other items here, just basically piles of things, old blankets, just to help reduce as much sound as possible. So when I'm recording in this space, my sound is being absorbed by the clothes. And that's great. Even down at the bottom, that helps reduce some of the low end sound down there. But the thing is, like I said, it's been uncomfortable. So what I want to do is record this way. And as you can see, that's all bare walls, and it's a door. So I plan on putting the hexagons around here, kind of wrapped around this part of the wall, maybe some on the door, or I might put some hooks on the door so I can hang like a towel or a throw blanket of some sort. And I'll probably put some more tiles up there and maybe up through here. So that's where this is going to be a challenge, because you can see it's a pretty cramped space. But in addition to that, there's microphone issues that I have to keep in mind as well. So one thing I haven't talked about, and if you've gone this far into my videos, you probably know already, that the microphones that we use for voiceover record in what's called a cardioid pattern, which is kind of a heart-shaped pattern where the microphone picks up what's in front of it and progressively rejects what's to the side and behind it. Now, the interesting thing is that since I've been recording here, this has definitely not been treated as well as I could have treated it, but it's so dampened here in front of me that I don't know that a lot of sound makes it back there anyways to reflect back in here. But now I'm going to be talking this way. And technically, the microphone is only going to be picking up what's behind me, which is very, 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 very well dampened. But is there going to be enough sound reflecting from these walls back at me? That's where this is a trial and error to see if this actually helps or not. But before we get started with those tiles, I want to show you what I'm doing to put the little square risers behind it so that I can have that separation. Okay, so this is what I did to prepare this black foam board that I'm going to use for the back of those acoustic tiles. You can see a better look at how thick these are. And this is pretty firm, it's not spongy. But so what I did was I got a spare piece of wood that I can cut on, not have to worry about. And I got a knife so that I can basically score some lines about this side, maybe about an inch wide or so. Just kind of go down. And once I have those in place, I basically break this off. And if I have to cut it, There you go. So now I have 3 long pieces. You can see I can even break them apart like that. See how they look. And then I just cross cut them, but also about 1 inch. And I just keep going down the board. Basically what it leaves me with are these individual squares that I will then use double-sided tape to put to the back of the foam tiles so that they can stick to the wall. All right. Another little bit of information that I wanted to share is this is going to be the back of the tile. As you can see, I have some painter's tape, 30 standard painter's tape. The reason for that is because this stuff is really gentle on whatever surface you put it on. It's very easy to take off. And I'm going to be using these little double-sided adhesive tabs that once they're on, they stay on. So if I put them on here, like this one, and if I put it directly on the foam, if I ever want to remove it, it's going to leave a nasty adhesive on the foam. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put the foam risers that I just showed you right on here. That's what's going to stick to it. And then on the wall where these are going to go, I'm going to put painter's tape on the wall as well. That's a tip that I got from Mike Delgadio also, which is a pretty clever trick because anytime you want to remove it, you can just peel it right off and then the painter's tape very safely comes off without damaging your walls. So that's what it's going to look like. It's going to have 3 of the risers on the spots that I have on each of the tiles. I have the tiles ready to go, and I'm just going to start putting them up. Let's see how this goes. All right, so first part of the installation is done. I have 2 packs of 12, so really was only able to have the time to put this initial 12 pack up. And as you can see, these are the gaps I left. Those are the air gaps that hopefully will help trap more of the sound. And then of course the gaps in between the actual hexagons. I might even put a little LED strip in between the spaces just for a little bit of extra ambiance. But there you have it. That's a little bit of the start of what I'm going to sound treat in here. I'm going to continue up around through there, probably up through there as well. And then through here I have another dozen, and if I need another pack, I can order another pack. I think there were 20 bucks a pack or something like that. So nothing too bad. So there you have it. That's the start of me further treating my space for sound reflections. And actually I can tell already with just that little bit of installation that it made a little bit of a difference. Probably not going to be able to pick it up with this iPhone microphone that I'm using here in the closet, but I can definitely hear a difference in here so far. So I'm going to continue putting the other panels up and see what kind of a difference it makes. But I did forget one other thing. Let me go grab that. Okay, gonna finish this video without one last final touch. Now the space isn't done yet, and I'll probably find a permanent spot for this a little later on. But I wanted to thank my amazing wife for taking the time to do this for me, and also for being very supportive of me taking over the closet for this venture. But she's a very crafty person, and she put together a walk-in studio sign with my logo. How great is that? I really feel official now. Thank you very much, Jessica. I love you. This is absolutely amazing. The space is starting to come together, and that is by far one of the best touches. So in any case, thanks very much for sticking around to the end of this video. I'll continue to do some updates to my space. And I also have another video planned, which is why there's a part 2 coming up that involves my gear, the actual equipment. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to make another video talking about some upgrades I made with regard to the actual hardware that I use. Thanks very much. Like and subscribe. Comment that I do this right. Are the air gaps necessary? Is this a waste of time? I don't know. Sounds pretty good in here so far, but we'll see how it ends up going in the long run once I really start putting it through its paces with some recordings. But thanks very much for sticking around as always, and I will talk to you soon.